As the tribute stand on the podiums, the horn sounds. Skull Knight kills 2B with a sickle. Tusken Raider runs away. Florida finds a backpack. The Destroyer gathers food. Power gathers food. Jared Way runs away. Doctor Doom runs away. Zarya breaks Captain Butch Flower's nose for a basket of bread. Shmi Skywalker grabs a shield. Himiko, Tony Green, Yun Yun, and Edward Scissorhands share all their supplies. Bill Morrow takes a sickle. Edward Gerald Squarepants runs away. Buckethead runs away. Malric and John Deacon fight for a bag. John Deacon gives up and retreats. Roan Thomas and Natsuki fight for a bag. Natsuki gives up and retreats. Siva runs away.
Mark's
Mikan
scary.
runs away. I believe it. He's from Chivalry. That's scary alone. Gavin finds a backpack full of camping
This
equipment. Menine Uryu throws a knife into Declan's chest. Busboy runs away. Xenomorph runs away. Remus Lupin runs away. Mothman takes a spear. Mur runs away. John Arbuckle stays at the cornucopia for resources. Weiss Schnee runs away. Blackbeard runs away. Heisenberg grabs the sword. Roan Thomas, Buckethead, Himiko, and Bill Morrow raid Florida's camp while he's hunting. Busboy discovers a river. Heisenberg constructs a shack. Xenomorph is pricked by thorns. Mur injures himself.
By
Captain Bush
Florida, do you mean
Flowers.
Captain Bush Flowers, or do you mean the state of
I mean
Florida?
the state of
It's the
Florida.
entire state you
Yes.
gotta mention.
No, okay, sure. I'll say the
Yeah.
entire state of Florida. Yeah,
Or
my
just say
bad.
the state of Florida.
The state of Florida, yeah. Captain Butch Flowers and the Destroyer track down and kill Weiss Schnee. Edward, Gerald Squarepants, Siva, Tony Green, and Malric hunt together. Menine Uryu, Tusken Raider, Natsuki, and Mothman hunt together. Skull Knight steals from Union when she isn't looking. Gavin searches for a water source. Blackbeard is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Power practices her archery. Edward Scissorhands receives an explosive. John Deacon receives a hatchet. Doctor Doom attacks Mikan, but Jared Way protects her, killing Doctor Doom.
Gerard Boy kills Dr. Doom. No fucking way.
Yeah, impossible.
Does
Zarya,
not add up.
yeah, whatever. Zarya, John Arbuckle, Remus Lupin, and Shmi Skywalker hunt together. None of them. Oh no, actually, never mind. Yeah. Ulrich and Buckethead run into each other and decide to truce. Menina Uryu tends to Jared Way's wounds. Edward
Gerard.
Gerald Squarepin. What?
Gerard, not
Oh yeah,
Jared.
Gerard. I said Gerard the last 3 times. I just got confused. Because I was also because I was reading because Edward Gerald Squarepants is right under it, and yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Edward Gerald Squarepants screams for help. Captain Bushflowers goes to sleep. Mothman looks at the night sky. Heisenberg goes to sleep. Busboy and Bill Morrow sleep in shifts. Natsuki sees a fire but stays hidden. Xenomorph lets the Destroyer into her shelter. Remus Lupin, Edward Scissorhands, and the state of Florida sing songs together. Blackbeard catches Himiko off guard and kills her. Good, no more Danganronpa winners. Tusken Raider dies from an infection. Boring. Ron Thomas, Union, Tony Green, and Shmi Skywalker tell each other ghost stories. Power passes out from exhaustion. Gavin questions his sanity. John Arbuckle is unable to start a fire and sweeps that warmth. Mikan and Skull Knight huddle for warmth. Siva cooks food before putting fire out. Zarya, John Deacon, and Mur sing songs together. Very cool. Siva and Edward Scissorhands work together for the day. Edward Gerald the Squarepants practices his archery. Zarya defeats Natsuki but spares her life. Blackbeard constructs a shack. The state of Florida all go hunting. Malric receives a hatchet. Buckethead defeats Power but spares her life. Skull Knight and Mikan work together for the day. Mur tends to Gavin's wounds. Thank you, Mur. Gerard Way silently snaps Shmi Skywalker's neck. Mothman, Captain Bushflowers, John
Gerard
Deacon.
Way is
Sneeze
insane so far.
Skywalker.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Mothman,
Why is
Captain
there
Bushflowers. What him?
why is there Sneeze Skywalker?
Shmi Skywalker. That's Anakin's mom.
Yeah, I put
Oh,
her
that's
there.
hella gay.
Yeah.
Bad
Well, it's
choice.
fine because she's dead.
Yeah.
Mothman, Captain Bushflowers, John
Another
Deacon, John
victim of the
Arbuckle,
singer of the
and
most
the
emo
Destroyer
band of
hunt
all
for the
time.
tributes.
Not the
Yep.
most, but quite.
Menina Uryu sprains her ankle running away from Xenomorph. Heisenberg tries to sleep through the entire day. Bill Morrow diverts Roan Thomas's attention and runs away. Tony Green tries to spearfish with a trident. Remus Lupin receives medical supplies. Busboy attacks the Onion, but she escapes. Captain Bushflowers receives explosives. Bill Morrow climbs a tree to rest. Power convinces Buckethead to snuggle with her. Florida and Zarya sleep in shifts. Blackbeard receives fresh food. Skull Knight dies of hunger. Natsuki, Heisenberg, Xenomorph, and Gerard Way sleep in shifts. Union quietly hums. Siva, Mur,
Yun Yun.
Edward, Scissorhands. I'm gonna kill you. And Minnie and Uryu tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. Busboy cries himself to sleep. Edward Gerald Squarepants poisons Ron Thomas's drink but mistakes it for his own and
Oh
dies.
god, that
Rest in
sucks.
peace. Yeah. John Arbuckle receives an explosive. Mothman is awoken by nightmares. The Destroyer, Tony Green, Mekon, and Remus Lupin tell each other ghost stories. Malric and John Deacon huddle for warmth, and Gavin receives clean water. Siva collects fruit from a tree. John Deacon sprains his ankle running away from Malric. Blackbeard, Heisenberg, Yun, Ron Thomas, and Remus Lupin hunt together. Bill Morrow defeats Tony Green but spares his life. Buckethead scares off Xenomorph. Florida receives medical supplies. Murr stalks Minnie and Uryu. Gavin collects fruit from a tree. John Arbuckle sets off an explosive, killing Captain Butch Flowers. Gerard Way overhears
No.
Zarya talking to Mekon. Yeah, Lucas, you're dead. Natsuki receives clean water. Mothman goes fishing. Power picks flowers. Edward Scissorhands kills the Destroyer with a hatchet, and Busboy dies of dysentery.
God damn it.
Yeah. Malric, Zarya, Ron Thomas, Edward Scissorhands, and Siva sweep in shifts. John Arbuckle stays awake all night. Remus Lupin receives clean water. Gerard Way thinks about home. Yun receives food. Murr screams for help. Natsuki, Florida, and Gavin start fighting, but Florida runs away as Natsuki kills Gavin. The state of Florida are all cowards. How dare they leave me to die?
That's surprising considering they consist of Florida Man.
They ran away from one person. They were
Yeah.
scared. They were stricken with fear. Tony Green and Heisenberg run into each other and decide to truce. Power, Blackbeard, Minine Uryu, Buckethead, and John Deacon sweep in shifts. Bill Morrow looks at the night sky. Mekon is unable to start a fire. Xenomorph tries to sing to herself to sleep. Mothman falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Xenomorph travels to high ground. Blackbeard makes a swing shot. Murr camouflages in the bushes. Remus Lupin goes to hunting. Power makes a swing shot. Zarya chases Malric. Bill Morrow fishes. Tony Green explores the arena. Buckethead chases Mekon. Heisenberg and Natsuki work together. Ron Thomas spears fish with a trident. John Arbuckle picks flowers. Yun steals from John Deacon. Gerard Way stalks Minine Uryu. Edward Scissorhands sets off an explosive, killing the entire state of Florida. He dropped a nuke.
Damn.
And
Was
Siva
Edward
explores the arena.
Scissorhands?
Yeah.
Dude, he's like a pacifist.
No, he's killed the entire. He has a lot of blood on his hands now.
Yeah, true.
Plus the Destroyer, I'm pretty sure he also killed.
Yeah.
Remus Lupin thinks about winning. Zarya and Natsuki hold hands. Murr and Xenomorph hold hands. John Arbuckle convinces Tony Green to snuggle with him. Edward Scissorhands and Bill Morrow run into each other and decide to truce. Buckethead thinks about home. Yun cries herself to sleep. Minine Uryu unknowingly eats toxic berries. Heisenberg quietly hums. Gerard Way severely injures Mekon and leaves her to die. John Deacon receives fresh food. Ron Thomas, Power, and Siva get into a fight. Siva triumphantly kills them both. Blackbeard lets Malric into his shelter. Gerard Way receives fresh food. Natsuki poisons Malric's drink. He drinks it and dies. Blackbeard overhears Xenomorph talking to John Arbuckle. Tony Green severely slices Heisenberg with a sword. Bill Morrow receives an explosive. Murr searches for a water source. Siva diverts Edward Scissorhands' attention and runs away. Bucketheads, Remus Lupin, Yun, Zarya, and John Deacon hunt together. John Arbuckle, Bill Morrow, Gerard Way, and Murr sweep in shifts. Buckethead questions his sanity. Zarya screams for help. Natsuki convinces Siva to not kill her, only to kill them instead. John Deacon lets Remus Lupin into his shelter. Xenomorph climbs a tree to rest. Yun begs for Blackbeard to kill her, but he refuses. Edward Scissorhand and Tony Green talk about tributes still alive. Edward Scissorhand, Bill Morrow, and Gerard Way hunt together. John Arbuckle, Remus Lupin, John Deacon, and Murr hunt together. Yun questions her sanity. Tony Green picks flowers. Blackbeard receives medical supplies. Natsuki makes a swing shot. Zarya begs for Blackbeard to kill her. He refuses. Xenomorph picks flowers. Blackbeard poisons Buckethead's drink. He drinks it and dies. Zarya receives a hatchet.
Fucking
Remus
Blackbeard,
Lupin.
man.
Yeah, he's a menace. At least he hasn't made a black hole yet. Remus Lupin fends John Deacon, Gerard Way, and Bill Morrow away from his fire. Xenomorph cries to sleep. Edward Scissorhand quietly hums. Yun receives fresh food. Murr goes to sleep. John Arbuckle stabs Tony Green with a tree branch, and Natsuki dies of hypothermia. Cornucopias are replenished with stuff. Xenomorph silently snaps Remus Lupin's neck. Bill Morrow doesn't go to the feast. John Arbuckle destroys Edward Scissorhands' memoirs out of spite. That's evil. Edward Scissorhands is a kind soul.
He had friends in Florida.
Yeah, that's true. They're all dead. Rest in peace. Blackbeard doesn't go to the feast. Murr sets off an explosive, killing Gerard Way and John Deacon. Lucas, all of your musicians are dead.
Oh god. Gerard Way did go on a murder spree for a little bit though.
Yeah, he did. Yun Yun doesn't go to the feast. Zarya doesn't go to the feast. John Arbuckle discovers a cave. Edward Scissorhands searches for a water source. Yun Yun goes fishing. Bill Morrow injures himself. Murr kills Zarya for her supplies. Blackbeard receives an explosive. Xenomorph explores the arena. If frickin' Bill Morrow wins, that would suck.
Yeah.
Bill Morrow climbs a tree to rest. John Arbuckle screams for help. Edward Scissorhands thinks about home. Blackbeard sets off an explosive, killing Yun Yun and Xenomorph. That's one of the few times where someone has received an explosive and then used it. Very
Yeah.
cool. Murr is
If
unable
they
to
just
start a
like
fire.
use it and then either their supply will get raided and end up with one of the. Actually, I wonder if that's okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
Murr overhears John Arbuckle talking to Blackbeard in the distance. Edward Scissorhands camouflage in the bushes. Bill Morrow receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Edward Scissorhands and John Arbuckle run into each other and decide to truce. Blackbeard strangles Bill Morrow with a rope. Thank God. Murr attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. John Arbuckle falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Murr scares off Edward Scissorhands and Blackbeard bleeds out due to untreated injuries. It's between Murr and Edward Scissorhands. Murr dies of thirst. The winner is Edward Scissorhands,
The
the pacifist who killed an entire state. He wins. Rightfully so.
That's menacing, dude.
Yeah, he actually
The
had the highest
pacifist
kill
who
count.
killed a whole state. Yeah.